having a very odd conversation in my head, I guess, as I'm realizing some things about my story, my situation, my personality, and how rare these, like all of these circumstances um, in life have been that have led up to the oddball you're looking at right here. So, just wanting to be real. I goof off a lot. I'm very sarcastic, and I'm sure that like 90 or so percent of everything I say is a joke. Um, and that could be weird for people that don't know me, and they just hear me say something outrageous. Um, so, I've opted out of all of my different careers, the options have left after being pillaged and pecked apart by all these vultures. Comedy. Comedy seems like a great label to myself, comedian, because then it's like you don't have to take it seriously if you're challenged by my challenging of my own beliefs. Like I openly question everything I think and do, and right, so my own behavior is just as odd and curious to me as anybody else's, because I can second guess myself and my thoughts. I don't believe in all my own thoughts, and right, and it starts my Mormon upbringing, and then in my 20s realizing how many of those beliefs are just echoed and handed down, and right, how many of those beliefs were my parents that were handed down to them, and so on. So and now I've got these, the Seventh Day Adventist preacher, the Puna preacher, Joe Havansky, ripping me off, scamming me on this house, and then leaving my stuff to this old lady, and both of them knowing they can just blame each other for anything I have missing, and just taking my abilities to blow glass, to be a musician, to just, you know what I mean, my computers, like all this stuff, I'm just screwed. Um, And so, right, I collect pennies because nobody's going to steal those from me. Hopefully, they will. And, right, I've had to start my coin collection over 4 times. And, like, comedy, I'm not getting paid for any of that. I'm just pretty much, I've let myself become reduced down to being a whole person in a van with my dog. And it's because I am so exhausted and like tired of being traumatized. I've put myself in an isolated situation, and I find peace in that I can be myself around myself all I want, and not be like insecure about people, or triggering mob attacks again and stuff like that, right? So I'm trying to keep my art at a level that is absorbable and acceptable to people that don't know me. I was having a conversation with my friend this morning, and she bypassed it. She made it through, and so me on Big Island, I've got some very large challenges. I bought a property between a tyrant and a terrorist, like super terrorist, and I had to take the higher road so many times, like just choosing forgiveness and to see them as just children that grew up in really messed up situations that they never got out of their terrible too. And so I just wanted to explain that about myself, that I see how I can be triggering to people that have belief systems as they watch me openly my own beliefs and have the discussion, and you know what I mean. I made a huge mistake, I guess, in assuming that everybody wants to learn, everybody wants to better themselves. They want, if have beliefs that are unfounded or not serving our well-being, like I would rather ditch them and be free of that, and so I can think fluidly, move consciously through the world, and through all of my learning um, stages as I pick up new skills and new understandings. Right? So, like, psychology was one of the most helpful um, topics that I've learned about, and right? I mean, to some people, psychology is just some other religion. And in some ways, it is. It's unfounded. It's new. It's fresh. Like, Freud didn't have much to go off of, and his conclusions are not absolute. Not everything is sexual and about everybody's parents. We all have different upbringings and different circumstances that as to where we're at. So I like to look at it as like an ever-evolving, self-bettering process, and I'm only comparing myself to who I was. And I notice, aloha guys, I noticed that some people that have, the terrible twos got over them, they want to look at themselves as already absolute perfect. And, so me questioning myself and doubting myself, making fun of myself, if they still have traits that resemble what I'm making fun of in myself, then I am actually indirectly making fun of them too, in a way, because they still do that stuff or believe that stuff. And so I gotta be careful. And so comedy seems like a good way for me to just like touch these subjects without being as triggering, as just like dissecting myself right in front of everybody. So and then I learned in my 40s that I'm on the spectrum. I'm actually like severely ADHD. Like not just like short attention span, blah, 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 but like got like debilitating circumstances with my ADHD. Like my brain is always going a million miles an hour. I can barely finish a sentence the way I planned on finishing it when I started. I interrupt myself with newer thoughts and newer directions and all that. So yeah, I guess that's what I wanted to discuss. It's just like, right? How weird it is to be a ponder. I've had the wildest life. There may have been wilder ones, but it's so crazy that I was writing movie scripts. I am still probably planning on finishing the movie scripts about my experiences in Hawaii and leading up to this. And if I ever get medicated and get ADHD, maybe I'll be able to finish my book and all these things. And so I use the comedy as a way of alleviating people's tension about me. Right? That if I'm supposed to be discussing 0-point energy and anti-gravity and all these things that are top secret, it's just like, let me know. Tell me. Because I see, right, all sorts of people discussing the electric universe on YouTube or whatever, and they're perfectly fine. They don't get targeted and have mobs after them. So it's like I can't be, because I see the electric nature of physics and all that, can't be that I'm causing any problems for science by calling out the direction we're headed. Psychology, calling out like issues that we might have, all might be given because of how we were raised. The TV programs us, social cues, we all, right? Exactly. Nobody cares. This is good. And shut the fuck up. Wonderful messages to get. See, this is what I'm saying. I am triggering to people that do not want to grow. People that don't want to be better than they were yesterday. Or people, like, they're comparing themselves to me. So, Oracle 666, you sound like a great person. Just stay exactly as you are, because you're perfect, man. You're a champ. Right. Yeah, walking fucking ego. That's what I'm saying. See how triggering I am? Do you guys see these comments? Anybody that is watching? I'm talking about my process, letting go of ways that I was and becoming less problematic for everyone around me. I want to be a better person. I want to be helpful. If I've learned anything important, I want to share that with people. I want to be a teacher. As much as I want to learn from you, all of the little tricks and things that you are genius about, I would love to stop and absorb and reflect with you and discuss these dynamics and the stories that lead us to these conclusions. I mean, to me, that's what life is all about. is growing and learning and sharing that and right, making it better for the next generation. That's like my primary goal in life. My mother was a narcissist, and in her eyes she had to be the perfect mom, the world's best Mormon. And if my behavior didn't reflect that she was the world's best mom, if like, then it would put, so I was on the spot growing up, and I wanted to be I wanted to be like, she turned me into a people pleaser. I wanted her to think I was the world's best son because she's the world's best mom, right? And that pressure that was on me, it turned me into, you know, like somebody is just obviously concerned about what everyone thinks about me and how my feelings are, or how their feelings are affected by my presence. And so narcissists see that. They're like, oh, this guy cares what everyone thinks about him. And I get targeted. And so they just like try to manipulate. They try to get everything they can from me. Exactly. Jesus Christ. You got it, bro. You got it. Nice to meet you, dipshit. Anyway, what would Jesus do? What would love do? That's where when I'm caught in a conundrum or a situation that leaves me unsure, leaves me feeling, right? Like my automatic reaction isn't the best. So, what was I getting at here? I should turn this guy's stuff back. YouTube isn't your therapist. Yeah, well, this is a good point. Yeah, you know, won't see my feed again, Mr. 666 guy, because you'll be blocked. I will not come up in your feed again, and you can live the rest of your life just super happy without ever growing. It'll be perfect. Just stay as perfect as you are. You're great. Okay, so anyway, sorry for getting the distractions. How do I get these off of there? I should just like push the comments off of there and see them, right? That'd be better. So this is on my channel. I am discussing this so people can understand. If they're newcomers, welcome, and you know, welcome to the madness. I have a way of being that is open, authentic, honorable, honest, and I say things that most people would filter out because I just don't filter. I was not born with this mask that most people wear. And so maybe going maskless makes some people uncomfortable. If you're wearing a mask and you gotta be around masked people, I'm sorry for being all naked face and just saying what I see and what I think, and you know, being hypothetical about it, on the fence, and not right too much truth. It's too honest. And there is a huge portion of the population that can't handle the truth. Like literally. They can't even see it. They like, it's like a level of denial that they don't even know about because they can't see it. And that's rough. So that is like, and it's not the human condition. That is the condition that we have adapted to because of how sick society is. And so I'm sorry not having a filter and not having a mask and not pretending. I'm not pretentious. I'm real. And so my comedy is, it's deep. There's layers, and the honesty is raw and unsavory sometimes. And right, so this is what like inspired this post, this live feed. I'm trying to figure this out. I have a friend, she is very smart, and she had people tell her. She started hanging out with me a little bit, and she had all these people come at her and be like, oh no, you know what I heard, and like, don't hang out with him. And I'm so proud of her. She's like, I don't see that. I don't see the guy that I know as capable of doing any of those things that you people say you heard that he did. Why are you repeating stuff that you heard when you don't know? That's a really horrible thing to say about that person. When you don't know, somebody told you that and you're just gonna walk around repeating it now? Like, so that's what I'm saying. I'm a human filter, and my way of being is going to expose the type of person that you're dealing with that heard me. So it's really, I had to go through some major things like mob attacks. I was tortured by a group of people, fell for all these rumors and lies about me, and they thought they were getting the bad guy when they were actually like helping like super terrorist get away with like slandering is literally character assassination. And so all the people that took the rumors and gossiped and spread them, they are associated with the guilt of like trying to get me killed. And I had to get away from my property because they tried to kill me. I am dealing with charges still and a trial coming up. And I don't talk about that stuff because I'm not going into it. I don't go around pointing at all the people that stole from me, but I do know that everyone that stole from me, not everyone, but probably most of them, are the ones that started the rumors about me being a thief. Like, they steal from me and then call me a thief. These creeps, these like, right, the people that run the dance floor and this tyrant, they got a dark history with the Rainbow family and all this stuff, and I come up and I'm just honorable and polyamorous and on the level of being honest and open about my behavior and not hiding anything and not being right, just all about consent. My movie series is called Consent, and I mean, right, like the situation we're in with capitalism, I did not consent to be in this situation where I'm in a predatory pool where everybody's all just trying to like, right, like come up off of each other and trick each other into, like, it's Scam City over here on Earth, dude. And I just want to be real. I don't want to be predatory over anybody or trying to think of how I can get somebody's finances and whatever. It's just like I see so much abundance. All to do is just like choose love. It is so simple. The world would be a different place if we could just like let go of our hang-ups and move forward with love as the focus. Like, what would love do, right? It doesn't have to be what would Jesus do, because I was making that joke yesterday at the church at the Seventh-day Adventist. I was like, what would Jesus do? At the temple, he would whip off his belt and start whipping everyone that was trying to sell crap and be vendors in the temple. So what would Jesus do? He'd be a cracker. I'm like, oh, no wonder they thought Jesus was white. He's a whip cracker. So now I'm making racist jokes about Jesus. Oops. You see what I mean? So I just heard half of everybody into leaving. And that's because it's just all absurd to me. All of it is just absolutely ludicrous, ridiculous. The world is so opposite, dude. How many, like, dude, right? I pray that Trump is just an actor. There's gotta be like no way somebody could be that horrible, that delusional, that in denial. He doesn't even see his own. But if he's an actor and he's trying to show us narcissism and show us the traits like so clear as day, then I could support that. If that's what it takes, is playing a reverse psyop on society to that level, showing what gets attention, showing what gets feedback and support, being that corrupt, and then just pandering to egos, and right, so just like seeing all the other ones that are in that level of denial and bringing them in, labeling themselves, is just wild to me. So I mean, this whole thing has seemed really fishy to me, and maybe, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is actually, maybe he's real. Maybe those are all like very real responses and not scripted, like I think. But there's this hope in me that he sees it and he's playing a part, and it's leading towards clarity. And that's, you know what I mean? If there was like some kind of agenda beyond money and beyond power, and like if these people saw that if you want an omelet, you got to break some eggs and chop some onions and stuff, right? Then, uh, you know, I guess we've got to go through the Trump trauma to really realize how important it is that we choose our destiny and that we choose our leaders very carefully, with like by choosing someone who has shown that they have like global universal empathy, right? Who do we want to represent us when we are introduced to the Intergalactic Council and have to talk to the aliens? Do we want, like, seriously, this guy that insists that you pander to his ego and they just will punish you with narcissistic abuse globally, have everyone turn against you if you talk any smack against them at all? You don't want to point out, right, the truth, the reality, or, right? So, I don't know. To me, I thought it was very funny. Like, yeah, you guys want to reduce me to being homeless because I was joking on stage in a comedy setting about how easy it would be to win the presidency by just being real and like legalizing cannabis, reparations for the drug war, because we've been at civil war since Nixon, since the since the mafia pretty much took over all the police and all politics by sticking their guys in all spots, right? So the mafia's had a good foothold since the alcohol was illegal, and all of it. It's just competition with the pharmaceutical companies, things like they don't want us growing our own medicine and all this stuff. I'm just like, dude, like, so capitalism, money is God, and humans are way down here on the list of importance. And the Declaration of Independence says it's our duty to reset the system, to create a new system that does have our best interest as the focus. So, right? I when I read the Declaration when I was 30, I was like, dang, dude, it wouldn't take a vote to realize that it's time for a reset before AI is created. Like, this was 2010. And I was talking about how we need to really focus on the algorithm that we're going to base the AI on and make sure that it's not like capitalist minded, because that's turning us all into these predatory monsters. Like, we're, preying on each other for weakness so we could take advantage, right? So it's just like the system has turned us into these empathy lacking predators, and I'm not okay with that. I never have been okay with being turned into a predator by capitalism or whatever. Right? And so that was the conversation I had this morning. Is my friend, she saw my love, she saw my empathy, my authenticity, and was just like, that doesn't make sense. I would like see you and you'd be telling these exciting things. You're DJing for people for free throwing parties, underground forest parties, all their COVID things crapping on, and all this, like, and then I hear all these people going, oh wow, rabble, haters, but none of them have first-hand experience. My first-hand experience with you has always been wonderful, but all these people don't actually know you have been saying all these horrible things. And so I'm a filter. If you see somebody talking shit about me, you can just back off and be like, whoa, okay, that person has some serious denial issues. That person has some major inner work that they are not willing to do, but won't look in the mirror in the first place. And so I'm a dark mirror. That's what it comes down to. That's what I'm saying, is I am a dark mirror. And that should come with a warning label. If you are afraid of looking in the mirror, you do not want to hear my message, because I will make you think about where your thoughts are coming from. I will make you think about your belief system as being unfounded potentially, because my belief system is changing every 5 minutes as I reassess. And so as I overthink everything, I'm a ponder spirals, dude. Like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like, ponder the shit out of all of the implications, all the history, where things are coming from, and all the future, where that leads. That's what happens. I ponder the spirals. So that's, we don't really exist for long. We're very just like flashes of light, dude. and we're gone. And people won't appreciate my art maybe until I'm gone. And so this is my art. This is me. I'm ADHD. The easiest way to just whip it out and slap you with it, because it's going by really fast and I can't keep track of any of it. And then I get pillaged and I lose all my blowing tools, capabilities and all this stuff. I've been reduced, no longer a master glass blower, because I wasn't putting enough time in anyway. I'm not going to go back to starting that collection of tools and capabilities. They stole my life from me, and it made me feel like very unimportant, like irrelevant, because I was all these things, and it's just I'm an impression, and all of us are. We all affect each other for a very short amount of time, and so, right? I'm a glimmer in everyone else's story that either heard them or inspired them or educated, or they taught me or whatever. But yeah, right, you're just a version of labels in everybody's mind, and then you're gone. And so, like, even what you think you are, it doesn't, like, I know who I am, but that doesn't matter one bit to the world. I don't have to prove anything to myself, and trying to prove anything to anybody else is futile. So I'm left with just like what I do. And so, like, I'm defaulting comedy because it's the safest way to portray what I want to say in a way that's not going to be as triggering. If it's labeled comedy, you can laugh at it and not hate me for actually making you almost notice your own association with the topic. So, like, that's, I'm not trying to compare myself to anybody, and I'm actually going out of my way to prevent anybody else from comparing themselves to me, because seeing that is very triggering. So I make fun of Christians, but I love Jesus, right? But Christians are more often than not hanging on to a psychosis that is comforting their ego, and that's okay. That if they need a belief system to make them feel important, and like their trajectory is right, like rewards for their perfection, then that's okay. But as a psychologist, I look at that behavior and people that need to feed that narrative for their ego's sake. Ultimately, I have learned that is very dangerous. These people are self-righteous and do horrible things to each other, and they judge other people and belittle them, gaslight them, so that they feel okay, taking advantage and belittling others with different belief systems. So I see how the Crusades occurred because of psychology. I see how all terrorism and hatred and divisiveness is fed by a narrative. And so some of the news organizations are feeding that narrative that divides us. And so I feel the country is waking up to that. There's a very good, hi, Alice, how do you say that? Oh, Alice Jedlicka. Oh, that sounds like a funny name. You're a pseudonym. So anyway, what was I saying? It says comments. I gotta get them down from there. Oh, that's not how you do it. All right, so I guess I was just pretty much saying, like, I hope you accept my comedy as being helpful. I am just trying to be a teacher in the least triggering way I can. And, right, I don't have a degree for teaching, so I get to be a comedian and just like, and so my metaphor too is just peeing on stuff, like Dr. Bubbles, my psychiatrist, my dog, right, he's walking around peeing on stuff. It's like being an observer as a comedian and then finding ways to, oh, look at these guys. Vroom, vroom. some big old three-wheeler, dude. Yeah, peeing on stuff. Like Bubs just like, Bubs was here. And so I look at that as a good goal to not get in dog fights. Just pee on a rock, pee on the tree, see what, you guys want to pee on the tree too? Like, like we pee on stuff together. And so laughing at things that we all share, the tree and the rock, and just not dog fighting and not, it's like dogs do a great job not taking themselves or life too seriously. And so I'm more important than anybody else or better than anybody else, or I mean, you know what I mean? Like we all have our own genius, we all have our own talents and our own what we throw down on the table for everyone. And I don't want to be manipulative or shaming or anything. I just want to elevate. That's my goal, is to elevate the conversation, raise the bar, so we're all just treating each other with a little more respect and love, and seeing what we can do with this short time span we're given, this blessing of a life, and right, really what life is about is having kids and making the world a better place for them. It's not about what we can get. It's like, oh, I want the biggest pile I can accumulate and just hold down the fort and guard it until I'm taking this treasure with me. No, you're not going to take anything with you. But what you leave could echo for Jesus Christ. How long? 2,000 years at least before they erase history again. So I like what Jesus did. To a point, I don't want to get crucified again. That hurts. But I swear, half the people got the message, and the other half just like did what narcissists do, and just like, oh yeah, we're perfect, and now Jesus died for our sins, so we're even more perfect. We don't even need to address how we actually is at all. We'll just ignore that, take this bread, and go sin some more, and just next week we'll take more bread, because we're going to do whatever we want, and just tell ourselves that we're perfect. So yeah. Oh yeah, I'm making fun of narcissists again. So it's just how they're raised. They're just terrible twos. They're terrorizing everyone around them like, I will ruin your time by screaming and throwing a tantrum. I will ruin your fun by throwing a poopy pants. Screaming fit. And then get my way. And then I'll be okay as long as I'm getting my way and everybody else is just like pandering to my ego. Then I'll be quiet for a second before I throw my next temper tantrum. That's terrible. That's bad parenting. I'm sorry. That's just bad parenting. So if that is actually our only issue globally, is right, bad parenting and capitalism rewarding the bad parenting, it's just one thing to fix: narcissism. That's it. We just got to teach people to empathize when they're young. And that's easy. That's like, how do we make sure that our kindergarten teachers are also psychology students that are able to teach psychology concepts to the young and impressionable? That's pretty simple. I think we could use democracy to figure out a way to implement this into our teaching. Like I was like, why did why did I take psychology at like 37? I should have taken psychology at least in high school, if not middle school, younger. So yeah, that's an easy solution. We don't need to vote or have a war or anything like that. We just need to like set our teachers up with better tools on how to teach psychology and tactics that manipulators use, so that all these abusive, like the cycle of abuse must stop. We stop being manipulative assholes. Treat each other with common respect, and the honor will just surface from that, and people will once again hold honor as a higher value and respect each other. People actually like Instead of rewarding bad behavior, we reward good behavior. It's so easy. Um, so yeah, I've had some influences. I have a friend that's her parents are from Japan, and so there's like a little bit more discipline and stuff coming from that. And then I see that the alternative, and it's in the middle. There's a line somewhere in the middle there where we can find that sweet spot where we create freedom that we can feel and celebrate and flourish with, and right enough guidelines with our society to where we can identify people that are struggling and help them, elevate them. Right? Because punishment is narcissistic abuse, like jail, cold shoulder, isolation. These are like, we need a tribe as animals. That is one of our needs. You need oxygen and water and food and shelter, and you need your family, your tribe. You need to feel beneficial. You need to feel appreciated and love. And if you're not getting love, then you're suffering. Life is hard, and that you lose the meaning. And so to me, that's my goal. After all this crap, it's not to build up a big old pile that I have to guard that could be stolen again. It's not to change anybody who wants to be the way they are. That's fine. But I would love to inspire a shift in our focus, and show with my example that, being real, being helpful, and enjoying learning and growing and becoming better, doesn't have to lead to mob attacks where I'm getting tortured and gaslit out of banished from a community for just trying to get along with, like, trying to help people get along with each other a little bit better, for trying to show love, for showing forgiveness, and right. So ho'oponopono, it's a Hawaiian term for just like being cool with, like not holding on to grudges or escalating things, and like letting go so you can move forward together. And we have to share, like, so on an island, the Hawaiians had to share the island. I mean, they were going to see the people they had conflict with. So if both of them could shake hands and let go and move forward, there's a lot of strength in that. That showed like that next level of awareness and consciousness. And so it's that's how I look at it. When the return, like the second coming of Christ, it's not about ejaculation. It's not about resurrection as much as I think it's the return of Christ consciousness. And so there was like an echo after he did what he did. People were talking about it. They're like, "Did you see that guy? He went to town knowing they were gonna do this to him. He had the big dinner with his buddies, saying like, well, y'all guys made me too famous, and now it's like, now he is jealous. I'm gonna have to deal with this crap now." And the whole mob just dragged him through the streets, accusing him of all the sins. That's what it means when Jesus died for our sins. They were in denial about sins. They didn't even want to call them sins. They were just like, "It's just how I am. I don't need to grow. I'm perfect." And he was just like, "Well, but we're all God's children. We're all just as important." "Oh yeah, you said you're the son of God." "No, I said you were too." No. King of the Jews, y'all. He wasn't out there bragging. He wasn't out there trying to be better than anybody else. He was just trying to show love. And look what they did to him for that, dude. That's what I mean. I moved into this little situation between a tyrant and a terrorist, and they were already at odds, and they put me in as the fence. And then both sides were blaming me for everything. Everything's stolen. They were stealing from me more than anyone. But they're accusing me of being a thief. Everyone, right? Like, dude, I was having a lot of sex. But there was my neighbor on the other side were the ones making all the noise every night. So all the people over there that weren't getting sex were blaming me for, right? Just like jealous and hating on me. when I wasn't even the one causing all those moans and howls and stuff. There was lots of sex happening from we were at least trying to be quiet so that people could sleep. Right? So I just got blamed for everything, and the gaslighting and the campaign, the slander, all that stuff, dude. It escalated and bounced back and forth until I was by mobs. Like 5 times I got attacked and had to take on huge groups of people and tortured me and all this stuff. I'm not going to go into it, but that's what you get for trying to be a good guy, is dragged through the street, crucified. So that's, you know, that's how it is. Just like the world is, you know, yeah, sure. This is what the world is. Orvical 6'6". Orvical derp over here. Orvical derp. I'm an Orvical derp. Pathological liar, yeah. I guess perfect derp is a pathological liar and can't handle the truth. That happens. Poor child. Oh, poor little kid. Just never got any love. Oh, so sad. Someone should give this Urkel Jerkle for sure a hug or something. You know? Little child. So, shine love, guys. Shine love. Make sure to be there for your friends over, you know what I mean? Like, really be there for them, because sometimes people are isolated and left alone. And, give them time. Maybe they'll come around and grow up, or maybe not. You know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to give in to this abuse that I'm suffering right now in the chat. It's narcissistic abuse. And that means Urvical 666 never grew up from their terrible twos. And they've had a really shitty life. They're not even able to look in the mirror. And I'm not to that point where I can help them yet. You know what I mean? Urvical 666. I love you. Even though you're poopy pants. You should change your own diaper. Nobody else is going to change that stink for you, man. Or woman, or whatever's wrong with you. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to go, I guess. In my point that, you know, I'm sorry I'm triggering. I'm not trying to be. But then I guess I am in my comedy, which is all the time. If I get on stage, if I save my really offensive jokes for the stage, you know, you can assume that I don't, right? Like I don't believe in the things I'm making fun of anymore, at least. And if it's triggering, then maybe there's something you might want to look at there. And so I'm a filter. You're welcome. I got tortured by mobs for you. And now, I'm a psychology student, and I'm looking for ways to be helpful with my art. And so this is where I'm going with it, is comedy. And right, we all see what happens to comedians. They push the limits until they get cancel cultured. And I guess that's what I did. And so I'm not going to try to do any comedy that's so triggering that I get attacked by mobs again. But I do like how on the stage, it's a set place for saying the most fucked up things you can think of. And those usually point to fucked up parts of society and kinks in the system. So it's like where the growth happens. So you either get crazy laughs because everyone's already gone through that growth, or you get people just like poopy pants scowls and horrible abusive comments in the chat feed. And that's the safety net of the internet, right? So my fan base will grow because I'm the one saying it out loud, the thing that most people won't, and I get punished for it, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with taking Mr. Urvical 666 slanderous garbage going on down here. None of it's true, and right, if they're dumb enough to believe some rumors they heard and then echo them and repeat them, it just means they're still in 3rd grade or 6th grade maybe or something, and they just haven't learned how to be decent humans yet. And you know, maybe they'll never get it. It's not my job, and I don't need to take it personally. I just realize the world situation. I mean, it's critical, man. We are at a point where we're just like, thank you, I am pretty funny. Where we need to choose. We need to actually make a conscious, like, assessment, evaluation of where we actually want to go. And right, like, it doesn't have to be like history repeating itself. Empires don't have to fall if they actually get their system of self-correcting to function the way it was meant to, right? The founding fathers didn't think that they had it all figured out and like could see the future and how everything's going to go and just like constitutioned it up like it was a perfect fucking from God's hand written through Thomas Jefferson's or whatever. It's self-correcting. Checks and balances. We make sure that the president doesn't have power to break the law and all these things because, right, we're supposed to make sure to keep them in check with Congress and the judges. And so it's a wild situation. Obama wasn't allowed to do crap. He was supposed to choose the last 2 judges, but they filibustered. They shut the government down to keep Obama from choosing the judges because the judges were pre-selected so that they could do this crap and actually let Trump declare martial law on these cities without any reason and so on. It's the coup has been what do you call it when you set the TNT off? It's already been triggered, so it might be too late. I'm sorry I couldn't do anything about that without getting myself off. They pretty much threatened my life to stay out of politics and to keep out of, like, to not interfere with the election. And so I chose to live, to fight another day, because my art projects are not complete, and when they are, you'll realize that I was really trying to help this entire time. I was just trying to help. I was raised to do by my narcissistic mother. To be a people pleaser. To be helpful. Can I set the table for you, Mom? That looks like the best dinner ever. And so, I'm done being used and abused too. Because I realize the psychology lessons, I understand. I am getting myself targeted by showing the empathy. So it's like rules. You just talk dumb and you act like y'all gangster, like just like snap, like trigger temper tantrums and whatever. It's like you have to pretend to be a narcissist to fit in amongst them. So I mean, I'm just not very good at pretending, but I'm working on it. I'm at least able to identify them. It's easy. The people talking shit, obviously. Anybody spreading those made-up rumors about me, they don't know a damn thing about me, but they're spreading horrible, life-ruining rumors. Those are the people you need to just be like, Verge, whoa, dude, they're probably doing the same thing about me, you know what I mean? Those are not friends. So use me as a filter. If you see somebody talking shit, you know that they're probably full of dark closet history, and me trying to be a better person has triggered them to try to smear me. It's like how they're like, it's an inadequacy trigger, right? They're superiority complex. They have to fucking convince themselves that they're better, so they just belittle. It's bullying. It's pretty much bullying. So bullies are they got dads that beat them and they go home right there, just, and they're like held back from the 3rd grade 3 times, so they're bigger than all the other kids, and they're just like, whoa, this little smarty pants, and blah. It's sad. It's just sad. Those poor little bullies, they got bullied into becoming bullies. Oh man, what's the world come to? Yeah. All the the school shootings. They're just like, man, Orville 666 must have been in their chats too. Oh, Orville 666, how many fucking school shootings did you cause this year, man, with your internet bullying? Oh, poor person thing, whatever. It's definitely not a robot. Wow. I never met a robot that fucking horrible. Jesus. Anyway, I guess I explained myself, and I will do my best to be helpful. And it might not appear to be such when I'm just like pissing on everything, but that's what I've been reduced to, is just a comedian. So enjoy. I hope you like the comedy. I'm not being very funny right now. I'm being very real. And I guess that's been accomplished. May the force be with you. Especially Urvical Jerkle, Satan worshiper over here. And right, you don't gotta believe in Jesus or be like Jesus, you know, or be religious. You don't have to believe in God. You know what I mean? You just know that you affect everyone around you, and what you do and say, it echoes. It has energy, and if you've got poopy pants energy, then you're the one sitting in that stink, really. So, you know, I hope I can help you realize that you've got to change your own diaper and, you know, work on management, I guess is what you should call. I don't know, right? Your self-improvement goal, if you're trying to be a better person. Awesome. I respect you for that. If you're not, then you know what I mean. I still love you, and I wish the best for you. And one day, maybe you'll get over your denial, and you'll see what needs to happen on the inside, so that your outside can be pleasant. Because that's really stress, poop, energy. That's what gets you, man. That's what it's just like stress kills. So I don't let anybody get to me anymore. I just have to laugh at it and be like, Urvical. Time to grow up, Urvical. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you're right. I should go somewhere else. I'm not gonna block you. I appreciate your input, Urvical. Everybody else, good job. You're killing it, man. Just in the life sector, you're just doing awesome. And it's gonna be beautiful, man. I see it. They're baking a cake for us. It's gonna be kind of tasty. Lots of body parts in it and stuff, but right? I mean, dude. Actually, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what to support. I thought I loved my country, but that's because I thought we had checks and balances and a system of self-correction. If our system's broken and we're not able to self-correct, then we definitely have to do something about it. The Declaration says so. It's our duty, people, to replace the system for one that has the people as focus, improving our well-being. It's our duty. Not duty drawers, but duty as far as like to the rest of humanity, the children. So anyway, yeah. Okay, I just keep talking. I'm gonna go get coffee. So have fun pooping your pants, Urvical. Love you.